It's like the emptiness is this kind of empty space. And when you talk about the mind, you don't have to look behind, because if something has to look behind, it is a kind of something. It is something that's doing that. And any something is what's going to, you are going to notice it. It's what I call it, it's in front. It's just in front. There's nothing behind. Something can only be behind if you have a shape. If you have no shape, everything is seen. And so, if you have a shape or a form, something can seem to be behind you, like, oh, this. But if you have no shape, everything is in front of you. Everything is within you. So, the real purpose of any of these exercises is because why we feel that something is behind is only because of the habit of identifying with the form, with the body, and then you feel, something is like, even my mind is somewhere here, something is like there, and
Yeah.
so on. That's in relation to the body. But when you realize that even your body, you can perceive. Of course, I can't see my body from here with these eyes, but I'm aware of my body. I'm aware that I can feel it and watch it. But when I call that it's in front, it means that all these experiences are taking place inside an intelligent space that just feels like it's empty. So everything is seen. Because we're not used to thinking like that, it feels like, whoa, that's very deep or something. But actually, it's very simple. And if you can see in this way, then you start to see that, wait a second, but whole of this world that I've been seeing from my childhood, everything, nothing actually touches me if you come to see that you are that empty space. It's not something you have to imagine, actually. It isn't really like that, because even when you say something is behind, it is still an expression, it's still a feeling that's happening in an empty space, an empty intelligent space or something. And from this place, everything is appearing and disappearing. You got a headache, so, oh my God, I got this headache. Headache came, you were there before the headache came, it's present and it goes. And still the empty space is left. The empty space is always there. That emptiness, I'm saying empty space, but it's as best as I can use words, that emptiness is always there. The more you get used to it, because sometimes you think that you're looking at the empty, but actually you're looking from the empty, actually. And the more you get just, whoa, wait a second, my God. Like everything becomes like a tourist. Everything is a visitor. It's just a feeling, a thought, a sensation, imagination, memory. Everything is in front. Everything is perceived. Everything you perceive. And everything you perceive, it comes and goes. So I advise the people, don't get attached. You can observe everything, but don't combine that with a sense of self, and don't go into a shape. It takes a little bit of practice to keep remembering that. But as soon as you start to discover the beauty of it, it gives you, oh my God, it's like you you are kind of everywhere, but you're still in the body. But it's very different, very different. Then you don't think there's anything behind you. If you have no shape, there's nothing that's behind you. You know, there's not even anything really, really in front. There's just things coming up. So I found myself saying recently that everything that appears or to happen, everything that appears in this infinite expanse, which doesn't appear. But I use other words that says everything that happens momentarily in the immensity of the non-happening. And if you can reflect on any of these kind of things, it will keep showing you that, wait a second, the one constant is a thing which is no thing. Everything that is a thing is a variable. I mean, it comes and it goes, and it is perceived to come and go. If anyone gets this, you see, like what I've shared right now is the essence of all the scriptures I tell you just now. The essence of what the scriptures are trying to convey, the highest scriptures are trying to convey, I'm sharing with you right now what it is, the essence of it, so that it becomes your experience. Wow, you know, because most things are trying to tell you about something, a shape, a movement, something conceived to be, sort of entertaining or something, some kind of object, some kind of movement, some kind of thought, some kind of feeling, some type of experience. Everything in the world. No one, nothing talks about the nothing. Anything can only be anything, and everything can only be everything because they appear in the no thing. The no thing is the constant, including it is the constant of it. You are that actually. Everything that appears disappears. You are already here before something appear. You watch its appearance, and you watch its duration, and you watch its disappearance. You're still here. Who are you? You see. So it's very, it's always been for myself, in order to understand things, to try and find the simplest way to see them. Because I find if it goes complicated, then it goes into what I call mind. Then the mind kind of thinks it understands something. But in the simplicity, you can actually find, wow, but it's simpler than simple, because I'm not creating. I'm not using imagination, so there's nothing being created. Just noticing and being clear as to what I'm noticing and who is noticing also. When I say I am noticing, I'm speaking as the emptiness itself. In the emptiness of myself, I'm noticing all these things appearing. Even the idea of myself, I notice in my emptiness. Even the idea inside myself, about myself, is appearing in the emptiness. It appears and it disappears. I'm still here. So even without an idea about myself, I'm still here. This emptiness is not anybody's emptiness. Nobody can own it. It is this emptiness that is unchanging. In fact, it's not even emptiness. It's a good word. Emptiness is a good word. It's a very powerful word. Why? Because it's not a thing. No thing can be absolute. Everything is relative. It appears and disappears to the perceiver. Who is this perceiver? Does the perceiver have a shape? Why we can't perceive the perceiver is because the ultimate perceiver has no shape. It is not any form. And the mind is not programmed to acknowledge something without form. You see? The mind is always is like the instrument for measuring change and to interpret, to translate, to imagine, to change, to project, to desire. It can function like that, but it needs something with quality to kind of measure and to play with. But it cannot do that with emptiness. In the emptiness, the mind vanishes, you see. Because he has no work to do. What can mind do with emptiness? So if you discover you are the emptiness itself, your mind cannot trouble you. The mind can only trouble the idea you have of yourself. The idea you have of yourself is a thing. And if you believe in the idea you have of yourself, you become the idea you have of yourself, and then the mind can come and it can play with you. You're stupid, you didn't get it wrong, you're not good enough, and you missed out, you were born in the wrong place, and so then and this is the idea of yourself, because you're emptiness. And emptiness take a shape, and that shape became a person. And the person is the one that becomes the victim of the mind. And the mind is telling you, but yeah, but you didn't show up on time. No, you're not good enough. And yes, you got it wrong. And oh no, please help me. And so the idea you have of yourself is living the life based on ideas it has about itself. Watched from awareness, but not being aware that all this is appearing awareness and it has no fundamental reality. It has no fundamental reality. It's all just like it's like trying to capture some incense smoke and try to show someone what it looks like. It's just momentary. This is what I've been trying to share for so long, but very few people get it because we have a earlier concept that you're starting from the place of being an objective entity, and the objective entity is too dense. It is too complex to understand, to see something so simple. You see, this is why Papaji told me, if I will know the truth, I had to vanish. What he really meant is you have to be empty of you. But my mind is thinking abracadabra, but you had to be out of your way. You're standing in your own way. What it means, you've taken a shape, and by taking a shape, the goal is the shapeless. Only the shapeless sees everything, you see, and knows it is nothing, you see. Because what is the dilemma of life? What is the big challenge of life? To experience and to survive, actually.
Yep.
But no shape can survive. Shape means time, object means time, and time means change. But when you're nothing, time means nothing, and shape means nothing. The shape only is our dynamic, it's our dream, actually. We think that you dream that you're nothing, but actually you dream you're something. You're actually nothing, dreaming you're something. But to the mind, that sounds, oh, horrible, I want to be something. It is like that. Yeah, what I'm sharing with you, this is totally fresh, actually. It's like God is sharing something with his own manifestation or something like that, including we are all of that. We are the thing and we are manifesting ourselves in form. And the form is fine. I think don't curse the form. The form allows the movie to be played. The one who best enjoy the movie is the one who's formless because he doesn't interfere with it. You just enjoy. But the minute you interfere, you take a shape. You start to say, yeah, but I like this, I didn't like that. You take a shape as the one who likes and dislikes. That is the secret, you see. But before you can really take the full measure of this secret, you have to deconstruct your identity. You have to see it, you have to see it, that it's fine, it's a shape that's created by the God dream and the God dream, our sense of who we are, but it is not a fact, it is really a fiction. And if we are deeply attached, we being who? Being the emptiness self, actually. If you become attached to your own self projection, the identity of the body, then we'll have a great fear of losing the body. But you're always losing this body. This is not the body you was born with. It is constantly and there's no cell in this body that was here originally from your mother. It's all been renewed and renewed and renewed. Your thinking about yourself is renewed and renewed and changed all the time. You're not what was given birth to, even in your form. It's just memory and sentiment, and there's obviously some genetic information that continues. But like your parents are the parents of your form, and somehow sometimes conditioning. When the parents first had the baby, were they expecting you particularly? You know, so it's going to be a girl, but we don't know what it's going to turn out like. Nobody knows. You know, how it's going to turn out? It's going to turn out like how it turns out any moment. It keeps changing, keeps changing. There's something inside that child entity that and growing all that is aware of all these changes, aware, it's aware of them, but it is not shaped by them. This is what the sages they discovered that, or rather, when they discovered that, they became sage. You can call it that, meaning the one who sees, the seer, the one who see, mean one who really understand that, but not merely an intellectual understanding, a very profound understanding which changed the way that we experience. And everybody, everyone, is the same, actually. You know, the DNA of every form is an emptiness. You know, it's not a fault, actually. It's a play. It's not a fault, it's a play. That just in the same way that all the beings who exist in the ocean are wet, all the beings who took form gets conditioned into believing that they are the form. It's just, nobody's to be blamed. There's no blame. It's an exercise. It's God's um, play. None of the beings can exist without the source. The source is the source playing.